that note, and we mentioned this a little bit at the start of the programme, about all these U-turns that these politicians seem to be doing, frankly, on both sides of the House of Commons. U-turn if you want to, went the phrase in the early 1980s, but it seems that both of our major political party leaders are for turning. Let's look at the Labour Party leader's track record. Keir Starmer stood to be leader of the Labour Party on 10 pledges in 2020. Now, these 10 pledges included all sorts of things. For example, increasing income tax for those earning over £80,000, abolishing tuition fees, introducing what's called a Prevention of Military Intervention Act, rail, mail, energy and water nationalisation, defending free movement, full voting rights for EU nationals, and the abolition of the House of Lords. Well, how many of those pledges still stand? How many does the Labour Party still back after Sir Keir Starmer won his leadership promoting all of these policies? Not one. We were told by the Labour Party leader's spokesman not so long ago that his policy prospectus was a blank slate, completely wiping away all of those promises which led him to the position which he now holds. But we've discussed what went on with the Labour Party and the innumerable U-turns that their leader has performed. What's new this week is that the new Conservative Party leader, the new Prime Minister, seems to be wanting to match his opposite number for those number of U-turns. As we touched on earlier with the Climate Minister, the government benches really don't fare much better. Rishi Sunak stood for the leadership in the summer, promising to cut the basic rate of income tax by 20%, down from 20p to 16p in the pound. He promised to scrap VAT on energy bills. He promised to scrap all EU laws before the next election. He promised to get maths and English being taught to the age of 18 across the country. He promised to end the practice of housing illegal migrants in hotels. Well, yesterday he boasted about how many hotel rooms he'd booked. He also promised to cap the number of refugees the United Kingdom accepts every year, and promised to target 80% of claims being resolved within 6 months of being lodged in our asylum system. Well, how many of these pledges from Rishi Sunak are being committed to by his government now? Not one. In fact, yesterday we were told by the Prime Minister's spokesman that the sentiment of these pledges stands rather than the particulars of these pledges. What a remarkable contortion of words, that the pledges in their actuality don't matter. What matters is that the sentiment behind them is somehow upheld. Even when it comes to the 2019 manifesto, we asked whether the pledges of the manifesto, the promises of the manifesto will be stuck to. What was the answer? The promise of the manifesto will be stuck to. A crucial semantic difference. Not the promises within it, but the broad and vague promise of it. What a shower from our top politicians.